As I settle in to read through this collection of tales from the depths of human experience, I'm reminded that there's no substitute for sharing our struggles and triumphs with one another. Today, we're diving into the world of relationships, where love, heartache, and everything in between come together to form a complex tapestry of stories. Husband, 26 male, told me he'll never get on a plane despite knowing and accepting I, 26 female, have always wanted to live in Japan. How do I move on from this? I've been with my husband for 4 years now. We married last year in October. Our entire relationship, he has known I've been studying Japanese and that I want to move to Japan to teach English. I've been working with tutors for 3 years to learn the language and was planning to start the process of getting a TEFL certificate, teach English as a foreign language. I started looking into programs I could work with for after I get this certificate and talking to him more seriously about where I specifically would like to move to. He's never been out of state before, but has talked about wanting to travel and said he would love to live in Japan. All of a sudden, he just looks at me and asks if we're going to have a long-distance relationship. I obviously asked what he meant by that, and he goes on to tell me he's afraid of planes and he could never go to Japan because of it. That I would have to go there by myself and come back regularly to see him. I have no idea why he didn't say anything like this earlier. He knew from the start, this is what I always wanted, and now he's saying he thought I was just going to teach online. That he didn't realize I actually wanted to live there. I don't know what to do. I don't feel like this is something leave him over, but this is something I've wanted to do since I was 11 years old. My parents never supported the idea, and so I had to wait until I was financially independent and stable enough to start formally learning everything. I've put a lot of my time and money into this dream. It was finally within sight, but he won't budge. He just keeps shooting it down whenever I try to come up with a way for us to move there. He says it's useless to even try. I don't know what to do. Now let's check out some of the comments on this post. Wait, something doesn't add up. Days. He say he didn't want to get on an airplane, or that he didn't want to move to Japan. Because you can get to Japan without a plane. Quite roundabout, but you can do it. Why is he talking about long distance? Seems to me like he doesn't want to move to Japan, period. Here's the response from OP. He won't go by boat, either. You're right, he straight doesn't want to move to Japan. I just wish he was truthful about it from the beginning, because I wouldn't have gotten involved with him to this extent had I known. He deliberately misleads you. And he apparently has anger management issues and refuses to work on them? Sure, you made a mistake in marrying him. But it's not too late to fix that. Divorce, and enjoy your life in Japan. I think you are going to have so much more fun in Japan as a single than with someone who has never wanted to leave their own state. You guys are a mismatch. Move on, and have a wonderful adventure-filled life. Yeah, even if she stays and does long distance, I just know he's gonna guilt her and ruin her time in Japan. And now for the next story. My 28 female partner, 28 male, thinks adults don't do daily chores only on the weekends. How do I navigate this argument? My 28 female partner, 28 male, is currently arguing with me over this. We've been together 3 years, living together for 1 year. He claims adults do not do chores daily, that they save it for the weekend. I countered that most functioning adults living independently do some chores daily to maintain their living space. This argument began BC. My partner is responsible for the dishes, aka emptying and filling the dishwasher. He often lets them pile up in the sink until it overflows, smells, and we get fruit gnats. I suggested it would be better to do the dishes daily, or at least empty the dishwasher daily so we can put dirty dishes in there rather than the sink. He then told me that that is not feasible, as he is tired after work in the gym. Adults only do chores on the weekends. We shouldn't have to do dishes every day. I said I'm sorry, but this is what it's like being an adult that lives independently. Keep in mind, his chore list consists of dishes, cleaning the cat's litter, feeding our pets breakfast, and putting our trash outside. I do everything else in our apartment. It's exhausting. IDK how to get through to him that we cannot keep living this way. I have threatened to leave. I don't think he believes I actually will. He's a great person, just a terrible romantic partner roommate. I don't want to leave, but it seems like things won't change, and I refuse to be with a man-child. Update BC questions. He will typically do the dishes every 3-4 days unless I tell him to sooner. He does the cat litter daily. Thank God. I don't want kids, so that's not really a factor. We lived with my parents for a year before getting an apartment. I knew he was messy. I am too, but not to this extent. Our lease is up in April, so if I leave it'll be then to make things easier. Too long. Didn't read my partner thinks he doesn't have to do the dishes daily. BC adults don't do chores every day. Now let's check out some of the comments on this post. Sounds like he wants a mom, not a partner. Agreed. And also sounds like he didn't have to deal with any of his own stuff growing up. The amount of parents releasing underdeveloped boys into the world is appalling. At 28, you should be able to independently run a household, cook, clean, laundry, etc. If you are regularly getting bugs, then you are failing. The mental image of parents releasing their boys like seahorse made me laugh honestly. Thank you. I'm pregnant with a son and I swear this is why I'm going to teach him to cook, clean, take care of himself from the get-go. His future partner will never be able to blame me if he doesn't contribute to the household. That'll be on him, and hopefully he'll instill enough self-respect and kindness to others for that to not be the case either. Why is this the answer to like 75% of these posts? You're not wrong. It's just, why are men? And now for the next story. My 20 female best friends, 21 male GF, 21 female, mocked my trauma and said that I'm disgusting for embellishing it. How do I even get past this for his sake? I, 20 female, was sexually assaulted by someone, both my best friend, 21 male, and I called a friend when I was 18. At the time it happened, my best friend had been dating his GF, 21 female, for a year, and she had been through the same I was going through when she was younger. So we bonded over that hard, and she was one of the most important people who helped me get through it. I'll never be able to thank her enough or pay her back for helping to drag me out of that place. We never actually went into details of what happened to me, or to her, like the full play-by-play. My parents, brothers, all older, and therapists are the only people who knew before this happened. She has a Medusa tattooed on her arm, and I started thinking about it after she told me how it helped her claim herself back. I wanted that too in a way, because so far, I've survived him. But I don't feel like myself, don't know who I am after him. I started looking at small hand Medusa tattoos on Pinterest, and I found a half one that I liked. So when all three of us, plus my other best friend, 20 female, were all hanging out a week ago, I showed it to her to get her opinion. Hers takes up her full upper arm and is beautiful, but it takes a lot of courage to have that permanently. What I'm thinking of getting is similar to the pic I linked, but with the half Medusa laughing, and I told her as much. She asked why the Medusa would be laughing, that there's nothing about what the tattoo represents that's laughable. And I told her that, of course, I don't think it's laughable, but it's how I rescued, if you can call it that, from him, and I want my tattoo to reflect that if I do get it. Warning, a bit of details here, I don't want to trigger anyone. She asked me to elaborate, and I asked everyone if it was okay with them before I said the gist of it, which is that after I was beaten half conscious, I was bawling my eyes out and doing what I read people do when they're held at gunpoint. I wasn't, but I was desperate. So I started telling him that I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm an aunt, etc. All things he knew since we were friends. Not that it worked, but then he whipped himself out and I knew I was done. Something about that had me go numb, and I just started laughing at him. To my goddamn amazement, I managed to laugh him out of it, literally. It earned me more punches, but after that he tucked himself and ran off. I wasn't looking for sympathy, but I also didn't expect her to look at me with disgust after I was done. She asked me if I was serious, and I just looked at her because obviously I am. Then she told me that I'm disgusting, that she can't believe she's been standing by and helping a liar for 2 years. Both of my best friends stepped in, but she just kept throwing accusations at me, and I could barely get a word in to defend myself. Not that I had a defense, because I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She then kicked both my girl BSF and I out of her and my boy BSF's place. He tried to stop her, but I honestly was so shocked that I couldn't do anything other than walk out the door. My boy BSF talked to me straight after and apologized for everything she said and has been sending me texts. But I didn't hear anything from her, not that I want to. I think I triggered her with my story, which is why she lashed out like that, but I also don't want anything to do with her right now. For her to insinuate that I faked my trauma after what happened and embellished it when she knew it had taken me months to even be able to hug my brothers and father without flinching, and they're my damn blood. She was there with everything I went through just because he didn't forcefully penetrate. Doesn't mean I wasn't sexually assaulted in other ways. I know it will take a lot of time to get over this, but I do have to get over this because she's not going anywhere, and I don't want her to. I just don't know how to get past this for my BSF's sake. Inspo, pic, dit, c, dbd, dak, comfy doip, nines besats, chubibum camo. Now let's check out some of the comments on this post. Obviously, an assault can be of a sexual nature, even if it doesn't result in a completed rape. But for someone who was raped, there might be a very strict hierarchy in what counts and what doesn't. It honestly doesn't sound like this woman has fully dealt with her own trauma, actually. But this isn't something only your family and therapist should know about, and hopefully you've still got the medical reports to maybe try to get this person prosecuted. That would be far more empowering to all involved than a tattoo. Here's the response from OP. I do have a medical record, but I didn't press charges after my family, and I consulted a lawyer. It would have taken years in my country to get him convicted, and that's if it got to court the evidence stuck. I wasn't waiting that long, and I'm blessed enough to have a father and brothers that protected and prevented any future victims. Did they kill him? Would be great, if something good came out of it. Here's the response from OP. No, he's still breathing. He just had a very unfortunate accident, which was what he was claiming happened with us when he was confronted. So what you're saying is your family avenged you by beating the shit out of this guy. That, however, unfortunately, is not the same as preventing future victims. Nor is it the same as having a large and official stain on his criminal record. Does that make sense? If anything, this person will look for victims who don't have the family resources you do. Beating someone up does not solve the problem. Family members of mine beat up the guy who had been abusing me, as well as a friend of mine who was the same age as me. As soon as they left, the abuser called the other girl, who he'd been grooming for 2 years at that point, and told her to kill her mom, which she then tried to do in earnest. It'll kick that person's ass is such a common sentiment, but people need to be careful. What the fuck? Like and subscribe for more awesome daily Reddit content. And don't forget to hit the bell to get notified when I upload new videos.